After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 1, Wedding as Usual, Another Groom. Chapter 1 Wedding as Usual, Change the Groom. Interstellar August 30, 21, 3rd Sector. Both the Su family and the Hua family are nobles in the 3rd District. Today is a happy day for the marriage of the two families. On the big screens in the streets and alleys, there are all the wedding videos of the couple, playing them in a loop. Women are gentle and sweet, and men are gentle and handsome. Everyone who reads it says they are very right. The wedding was also held in the banquet hall on the top of the 88th floor of the central building in the 3rd District. Luxurious crystal chandeliers, exquisite utensils, and intertwined cups are full of extravagance. For this wedding, not only the nobles from the 3rd District came, but I heard that 2 big figures from the 1st District also came. It can be seen that this wedding has attracted much attention, and the Suwa family still have a lot of face. However, compared with the bustling atmosphere in the banquet hall, the atmosphere in the bridal lounge next door is very depressing. Lin Ranua said very worriedly, "Xiao Wan, can't I still get in touch with Wei Chang? Has something happened to him? Or, I'll go to the Hua family and ask again." Su Wan, who was wearing a white wedding dress, lowered her eyes halfway, and her eyes fell on the diamonds on her skirt. At this moment, her optical brain suddenly beeped, and Hui Chang's communication came in, and Su Wan raised her hand to pick it up. "Xiao Wan, I'm sorry, Xiaoman's aircraft has an accident in the 7th District, I have to save her. Isn't there a rescue team?" "Xiao Wan, how can you say that? How can I stand idly by when Xiaoman encounters this kind of thing?" Su Wan said calmly, "Hui Chang, have you forgotten that it will be my 20th birthday in a few hours? If you don't come back to marry me, I will be forced to assign a husband by the general system. Xiao Wan, I will try my best to get back, no one wants such an accident to happen." "Try. That is, it may not be possible to come back." Su Wan didn't speak. On the contrary, Hui Chang was a little displeased. He scolded, "Xiao Wan, I know you are unhappy, but you can't be so selfish, Xiaoman is your sister. She was seriously injured, I can't leave at all. Forget it, that's it, I will try my best to come back, and you don't want to go to my father and mother." The communication hangs up. The bride in the mirror, the corners of her mouth are slightly raised, with a sneering smile. Oh, her sister. Haha, is she selfish? When Su Wan was 13 years old, she was attacked by star thieves when she was on a spaceship. Fortunately, the interstellar guards arrived in time and were rescued. However, she was seriously injured and lay in the cryogenic chamber, where she was frozen for 5 years. No one knew that during the 5 years of sleeping, Su Wan actually traveled to the ancient Earth more than 1,000 years ago. When she woke up, there was a girl half a year younger than her in the family. She was adopted from the 7th District. It is said that she was the child of her father's best friend, named Suman. This Su man is very cunning and good at flattering people. Not only Su Wan's father, Su Zhen, treats her as his own, but even Su Wan's 2 brothers treat her like their own sister. Oh, now even Hui Chang, who had a baby kiss with Su Wan since childhood, escaped marriage because of her. How could it be such a coincidence that something happened at this time? Xiao Wan. Lin Ranue was very worried. She looked at her daughter distressedly, but for a while, she didn't know what to say. Su Wan in turn comforted Lin Ranue, "Mom, it's fine, the wedding will be held as usual." "As usual? Well, you can help me go to the banquet hall to socialize, I'll go out for a while." Lin Ranue chased after a few steps, "Xiao Wan, what are you doing out there?" The moment the door was closed, a word floated in. "The groom is gone, I'll find a groom." Lin Ranue. The new book has just been published. The male protagonist is sometimes cold, sometimes fierce, and especially dotes on the female protagonist. The female protagonist can be salty or sweet. If you like cute, don't miss it. The new book hits the list, please collect it, please recommend it for support. Thank you. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 2, Bloody Face. I miss Rua so much. Chapter 2 is full of blood. I miss Rua so much. There is actually a reason for choosing to marry Hui Chang. Su-won fell asleep for so long, and when she woke up, her mind was filled with too many memories of the time on the ancient Earth, so she couldn't cope with the jet lag. Plus her body has just recovered, and she is still a little weak. In the past 2 years, she basically stayed at Su's house, staying at home, that is, occasionally surfing the internet. After waking up, she had not been in contact with many non-blood relatives of the opposite sex. Not to mention, Su-won and Hui Chang were betrothed by the 2 old men since they were young. The family is right, and they can be regarded as childhood sweethearts. This year, they were also admitted to the medical department of the Imperial University Military Academy together. Marriage is a matter of course. The Federal Empire has a rigid rule that ordinary women must have a legal spouse at the age of 20. If not, on the day of her 20th birthday, after midnight, the main system will assign a husband as a birthday gift. The uncertainty of random assignment is too great, who knows what kind of husband will be assigned. For Su-won, it would be better to marry Hui Chang who knows everything. But who would have thought that at this juncture, Suman would resort to tricks to lure Hui Chang away, making it impossible for him to marry Su-won. Su-won sighed, she knew that Su-man coveted Hui Chang, and Hui Chang also had thoughts about Su-man, these 2 people said it. It's not that Hui has to be her. But now it's only a few hours before 12 o'clock. Where can she find a man with the same eyes to marry? Can we just wait for the main system to distribute it? Su-won was not reconciled, and walked through the long corridor with her skirt in hand, when suddenly something furry flashed past her vision. She stepped on 10-centimeter high heels, kicked and stepped back. Then, Su-won saw a pair of big wet eyes. The young man is very handsome, with exquisite and 3-dimensional facial features, and his skin is so fair that no pores can be seen. Silver gray hair with messy ends, a pair of furry ears of the same color, trembling slightly. Su-won's heart also trembled. Cute face. I miss Rua so much. She suddenly felt itchy on the instep, looked down, and saw a silver gray, fluffy, very fluffy tail, carefully sweeping over her instep. Su-won asked, "Who are you?" Such a beautiful lycanthropist, if she has seen it, she will definitely not forget it. But she missed 5 years before, and almost 2 years after waking up, Su-won didn't know a few non-blood relatives of the opposite sex. The big boy pursed his frivolous mouth and said, "My name is Aju. Is still a nickname." Although everything about this big boy is based on his own interests, Su-won's top priority is to find a man to be the groom. Let's solve the difficult things in front of us first. Su-won was about to leave with her skirt in hand, but her calf was caught by the big fluffy tail. She raised her head, and saw the boy ask with red eyes, "Where are you going?" Because the other party is so good-looking and cute, Su-won is very patient. She said, "My sister is in a hurry, I have to find a man to get married, and I will come to you later, okay?" "No, it's not good." The big boy bit the corner of his mouth, feeling very aggrieved. His dark eyes were covered with water vapor, but his big fluffy tail was firmly wrapped around Su-won's little ankle. "Don't go, okay?" Su-won clutched her heart, her little one. "Who is willing to leave?" She had no choice but to say half jokingly and half seriously, "Hey, my sister is really in a hurry now and needs to find a groom to get married. It would be great if you are over 20 years old, so you can help my sister with this favor." Ah, Ju's wet dear eyes suddenly widened. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 3, Marry Me. Chapter 3, Marry Me. I'm an adult. A Jew frowned, as if thinking carefully about how old he was, and finally said very solemnly, "I should be 40 years old." Poof! With such a cute appearance, you say you are 40 years old? Little cutie, you are kidding me. Su-won's unhappiness caused by Hui Chang's escape from marriage was swept away. She teased him with a smile, "That's fine, take out your optical brain. If you are over 20, you can help your sister get married. After the crisis is resolved later, you want to leave us again." Although in Star Empire, divorce is not so easy, but it is better than being randomly married to a man who doesn't know who is tall, short, fat, thin, beautiful or ugly. The most important thing is that Su Wan is a face control person and can't stand being ugly. If she marries an ugly husband in the future, she won't be able to eat or sleep. At the beginning, he was willing to always show his deep love for Hui Chang, and was willing to marry him, also because he was not bad looking. Compared to the odd Jew in front of him, Hui Chang is just a potato. Optical brain. A Jew looked around, and then saw the optical brain on his wrist. But it seemed to be broken. He fiddled with it for a long time before finally clicking on the interface for applying for marriage. Sister, is this here? Su Wan leaned over to take a look. It was a black optical computer. I couldn't tell what brand it was, but it had a good texture and luster, so it shouldn't look cheap. There may be a privacy function, or it may be damaged. She cannot see other things, and the personal information page is a bit messy, but fortunately, the light code of the marriage application is clear. As long as Su Wan pulls out her personal information page, and the two of them scan each other's light codes, it is considered that they have submitted a marriage application to the Empire's general system. If two people meet the requirements for marriage, the general system will approve it. And at this moment, footsteps came from behind. Su Wan turned her head and saw two women coming. One is older, wearing a purple cheongsam, looking graceful and luxurious. The other one is younger, accompanying the purple cheongsam. It was Hui Chang's mother and sister who came. Su Wan, my brother hasn't come yet, look, what about this wedding? Hui Jiaojiao pursed her lips, smiling gloatingly. She has always disliked Su Wan, a sick child, because in Hui Jiaojiao's view, Su Wan has been pestering her brother sternly. More importantly, she and Su Man are good friends, and they have known each other for 7 years. Mother Hui does not object to this marriage, after all, the relationship between the two families is here. Moreover, in Hui's mother's view, Su Man is just an adopted daughter of the Su family. How can she compare to Su Wan, a decent young lady? She said earnestly, Xiao Wan, if you wait for Yi Chang, he will definitely come back. Su Wan lowered her head and looked at the time on her brain. It is now past 9 o'clock in the evening. It was less than 3 hours before 12 o'clock. If Hui Yichang really wanted to rush back, he should be in the 3rd district by now. But he didn't. Su Wan smiled and said, Auntie, the wedding will be held as usual, you should go back to the banquet hall first. Mother Hui nodded with satisfaction. Although this Su Wan is not in good health, she has a good family background, well cultivated, and is obedient and sensible. Hui Jiaojiao supported her mother, looked back at Su Wan, sneered, and said, I will suffer for my face. They walked away, and they didn't see a Jew at the corner from the beginning to the end. Su Wan squinted her eyes, turned around, and found that Ah Jew was still sitting there, and just now he retracted his big furry tail, afraid of being seen, and now he stuck it out again, carefully hooking Su Wan's ankle. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 4, I seem to have seen you somewhere. Chapter 4 I seem to have seen you somewhere. After the Hui family's mother and daughter entangled, more than half an hour passed, and there was not much time left for Su Wan. After all, it takes time for the main system to review marriage applications. She looked at a Jew's beautiful big eyes and asked, if you marry me, will your family object? They dare not. Su Wan smiled, as if saying that she was 40 years old. The phrase, they dare not, sounds fierce at first, but in fact it almost melted her heart. Ah Jew in front of her eyes is very similar to the Alaska she raised on the ancient earth. Boyfriend is full of strength, but sometimes he is super cute, super soft and makes people want Rua. Su Wan thought of the group of people in the banquet hall who were either waiting to see a joke or sympathized with him, the corners of their mouths slightly raised. She stretched out her hand to Ah Jew, and smiled softly, then Ah Jew will marry my sister. The sweet woman in a beautiful white wedding dress is reaching out to herself at this moment. I already felt that this person was a little familiar, and somehow wanted to get close, so a Jew nodded without hesitation, and reached out to open the light code of his personal information. Drops. Did they really succeed in mutual scanning? The other party became an adult, which made Su Wan heave a sigh of relief, but looking at the other party's beautiful eyes that were a little confused, she was actually a little guilty. Do you think you are cheating? The marriage application has been sent to the main system to be reviewed, and within an hour, there should be a result. Never mind. If a Jew regrets it at that time, she will do everything possible to dissolve their marriage. If a Jew doesn't regret it, she can raise him for the rest of his life. Such a beautiful dog boy, she is not bad. Soo-won looked at the torn black clothes on a Jew's body, and she said, "Let's go, my sister will find you a dress to wear." A Jew stood up, took the initiative to hold Soo-won's hand, and followed her step by step, so obedient as hell. He stood up, and Soo-won realized belatedly that a Jew is so tall. In the lounge of the newlyweds, there are groom's dresses next to them. There are 8 sets in total, all custom-made according to Hui Chang's figure. While changing clothes, Soo-won found a wound on a Jew's arm. Fortunately, the wound was not deep, so it was treated. She frowned. "How did you do it?" "I'll call the doctor to show you." A Jew shook his head. "Don't look, it doesn't hurt." Soo-won confirmed again and again that the wound was indeed not bleeding and was already healing, so she breathed a sigh of relief. She thought, after the wedding is over, find someone to find out where a Jew came from, why can't he remember anything? Soo-won chose a black dress for a Jew. The white diamonds inlaid on the cuffs complemented the diamonds on her wedding dress. In the end, Soo-won found that a Jew looked very young, but he was actually taller than Hui Chang, who was 1.8 meters tall. The shirt was worn on him, the buttons were tight, and the outline of his muscles were faintly visible. The face is so exquisite and beautiful, but the figure is so predictable. Soo-won raised her head and found that a Jew was looking at her. His fair neck was slightly powdered. "Soo-won, Jew, what's wrong with you?" "A Jew, sister, I seem to have seen you somewhere." Listening to this very old-fashioned strike-up that was despised on the ancient earth, Soo-won couldn't help but laugh. "Well, we may have met in the previous life." A Jew frowned, a little distressed, because he thought it might not be his previous life. But the chaotic brain prevented him from thinking about something, and he got a headache when he thought about it. Although the dress is a little too small, it can still be used. Standing in front of the mirror, the two are very handsome and beautiful. Soo-won suddenly remembered that there are still videos of her and Hui Chang's wedding dress hanging in the streets and alleys. Although it will be taken down soon, it is still ironic to think about it. Suddenly, her hand was held by a big warm hand. Soo-won turned her head and saw a Jew's wet dear eyes. "Sister, what are you thinking?" "I was thinking, why hasn't the main system approved our marriage application yet?" End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 5, the whereabouts of the first commander are unknown. Chapter 5, the first commander is missing. At this time, the main system by Zay almost crashed after receiving this marriage application. Because of the particularity of the person applying for marriage, it is highly intelligent and cannot decide immediately. So it had no choice but to send this marriage information to the man with the highest status in the entire Federal Empire. Gu Xilan was wearing a dark blue shirt and black trousers, sitting in the study, frowning. He who was originally very refined was suppressing his anger. It's no wonder he gets angry. Just after a battle with the Zerg at the edge of the Interstellar, Gu Ju, the first commander of the Interstellar Federation who was injured after returning victorious, suddenly disappeared. You know, Gu Ju is not only the of war of their Federal Empire, but also his uncle of Gu Xilan. If it wasn't for Gu Ju's sudden manic depression this time, he wouldn't have been injured. Defeated the Zerg with injuries, but had an accident on the way back, and now his whereabouts are unknown. Gu Xilan coldly ordered the person on the other end of the video, "Go and check the whereabouts of the last signal from Commander Gu's aircraft, and you must find him. Also, keep a low profile when doing this, and don't let this news out. Uncle is too weak at this time. If someone finds it, the consequences will be disastrous." "Yes. Your Majesty." After cutting off the communication, Gu Xilan rubbed the space between his brows. Uncle stayed in the training cabin for many years due to special physical reasons. After Gu Xilan was born, Gu Ju's condition stabilized. So Gu Ju's appearance is actually about the same age as Gu Xilan. The two are both uncles and nephews and brothers, and they have an excellent relationship. Gu Xilan blamed himself very much. He already knew that these few days were his uncle's depression period. He should have stopped him and let others deal with the Zerg invasion. At this moment, an electronic voice belonging to artificial intelligence sounded. Your Majesty, Bai Zhe sent a request for you to make a decision. Gu Xilan frowned. What request? A marriage application. Can't even handle a marriage application. AI Wei, tell Bai Zhe to follow the rules. If you can't do this, I will let other artificial intelligence replace it. Yes, Your Majesty. At this time, Gu Xilan was busy again. Someone found the fragments of Gu Ju's aircraft in the third area, and even found a cracked mask near the aircraft fragments. It should be the silver mask that Gu Ju usually wears. Gu Xilan immediately sent someone to seal off the entire third district, search carefully, and not allow anyone to leave easily. And Gu Xilan's personal brain, AI Wei, is connected to the main system Bai Zhe. It proudly said, Bai Zhe, Your Majesty said, follow the rules. If you don't even know how to do this, he will consider letting me replace you. The artificial intelligence of the entire Federal Empire, who wants to replace Bai Zhe and become the main system. After Bai Zhe heard this, he sneered, good idea. Even if I retire, it won't be your turn. It hung up Ivy's communication angrily, looked at the marriage application message, and finally clicked directly, and it was approved. Anyway, it operates according to the rules, and both parties applying for marriage meet the conditions for marriage. As for other things, it has nothing to do with it, a system that only follows the rules. At the same time, Su Wan, who was still in the lounge, looked at the message sent by the optical brain, her eyes lit up, passed. Su Wan was happy, she turned around and hugged a Jew. Ju's hairy ears trembled, and then he slowly put his arms around Su Wan's waist. At this moment, the door of the lounge was pushed open, and with Lin Ranyue's anxious voice, Xiao Wan, it's already 11 o'clock. Your dad said whether you should take the wedding directly. Seeing the two hugging each other, she was dumbfounded. Little, Xiao Wan, who is he? End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 6, is he in a manic depressive phase? Chapter 6, has he reached the stage of bipolar disorder? He is my husband now. Su Wan briefly introduced to her mother in a good mood, and then said with a smile, I will talk about the rest later. Let's go, people outside are waiting for us, let's arrange the wedding ceremony first. The cut scene is gone. Lin Ranyue looked skeptical about life, but her daughter didn't want to say more now. And the guests in the banquet hall really couldn't ignore it. Su Wan held a Jew's hand, and when she was walking towards the banquet hall, she suddenly felt that the other's palm was very hot. She turned her head and asked, Jew, what's wrong with you? It's so hot, I want to show my tail. Jew's voice was a little aggrieved, and he stretched out his hands to pull the neckline uncomfortable. Hui Chang is not a lycanthropy, so none of his dresses are specially designed for lycanthropy. That's why Su Wan asked Jew to put his tail away, otherwise he wouldn't be able to wear it. She patiently said to a Jew, be patient, the wedding will be soon. After it is over, I will send you to rest. Lin Ranyue is so curious about this son-in-law who suddenly appeared. She looked at a Jew's appearance, and suddenly her eyebrows sank. Xiao Wan, has he reached the stage of manic depression? Bipolar? Only lycanthropes can have a manic depressive period. Beast men are an atavistic phenomenon and are very rare. In the Su family, only Su Wan's eldest brother, Su Yun, is a lycanthropist. He is now a third-year student at the Imperial University's Military Academy. After a lycanthropy becomes an adult, he will have a manic depressive period every year, and the duration of the manic depressive period is variable. Every manic depressive period, the lycanthropy will be emotionally unstable, insecure, and may turn into a crying bag. After the manic depressive period is over, the memory of this period will be blurred. Beast men with a partner can ask the partner to help relieve the manic depression period. Beast men without a partner usually use exclusive potions, or hard resistance, which will damage mental strength and physical health. Lin Ranyue said with certainty, when your elder brother was in the manic depression period, it was very similar to this. Didn't he bring his exclusive medicine? Su Wan turned her head to look at a Jew. The corners of a Jew's eyes were red, and he was holding her hand firmly. I don't even remember my home, so how can I remember to bring my exclusive potion? Su-won immediately said, Mom, you go and help me take care of the exclusive medicine for my elder brother. I will finish the wedding cut scene here first, and when the wedding is over, I will immediately give him the exclusive medicine. That's the only way to go. Lin Ranyu aside, what's going on today? While Su-won and Ju were walking towards the banquet hall, Su-jin was invited onto the stage with an ugly expression. At this time, Wei-chang has not rushed back, this marriage should be ruined. Su-jin felt that his daughter had lost all his face. The eldest son Su-yun said in a low voice, Dad, there are people from the first district today, you can't get angry, Grandpa is still watching from the audience. The old men of the Su family, the old men of the Hua family, and those big shots from the first district sat at the front. They are all people of status, and they are still calm at this time, talking in low voices from time to time. But there are too many people here today. After waiting for so long, the wedding has not yet started, and someone has already started whispering. I heard that Hui-chan is still in the 7th district. The face of the Su family today is a big shame. You must know that people from all districts have come today. I heard that in more than an hour, the daughter of the Su family will be 20 years old. If she doesn't get married, she will be randomly assigned a man. I don't know if it will be assigned to me, ha ha ha. Do you want to? That's a sick child. Didn't he lie in the freezer for several years before, and I don't know if he has fertility. It's true, you can say anything. The faces of the Hua family are also different, Mrs. Hua can't sit still. What if the Su family became enemies with them because of this? Hua Jiaojiao said very calmly, don't worry, Su-won loves my brother so much, even if she married someone else, she will definitely try to get a divorce, and then continue to pester my brother. Mrs. Hua frowned, divorce is not that easy, what if you can't leave? Hua Jiaojiao gloated, then blamed Su-won for being unlucky. Hearing these words, Su-jin's face became darker and darker. He took a deep breath, suppressed the fire in his heart, and forced a smile on his face. Just as he was about to speak to end the farce, he saw the door suddenly pushed open. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 7, Make Your Own Medicine. Chapter 7, Make Your Exclusive Potion. The tail of the white wedding dress crossed the red carpet. A pair of newlyweds in gowns walked into the venue hand in hand. The venue, which was full of discussions, fell silent in an instant, and only the melodious cello accompaniment music could be heard. Su-won walked over holding a Jew's arm, and said with a smile, I'm sorry for keeping everyone waiting, host, let's start the wedding now. The host realized it later, nodded immediately, and started the long overdue wedding. But I was muttering in my heart, who is this groom? Everyone present was stunned when they looked at the handsome man. They didn't expect that Su-won would temporarily change a groom. The Hua family is on the top. Even Hua Jiaojiao, who had been gloating all this time, watched this scene in shock, her jaw almost dropped. Su-won dared to marry someone else. But who is this person? Also strangely beautiful. Mr. Hua had been feeling guilty before, after all, it was the fault of Yi Chang's child, so he didn't know the seriousness, and didn't come when he got married. Results now. He tremblingly asked his old friend, who is that? Ever since Wei-chang didn't show up, Mr. Su has been unhappy for a long time. What the Hua family did today is too dishonest. After hearing Mr. Hua's question, he stroked his beard with a calm face, it should be my grandson-in-law. Master Hua. Su-won didn't care whether these people were shocked or not. She asked the host to simplify the process quickly, and then asked Ju in a low voice, can you still hold on? She felt that Ju's hand was getting hotter and hotter. Ju nodded silently, but cold sweat ran down his forehead, wet his long eyelashes, making his exquisite face look like a kind of love that makes people want to be bullied. Su-won clenched his hand, looked up and saw her mother standing next to her elder brother whispering something. She probably asked him for an exclusive potion, then she couldn't help but turned her head and said to the host, hurry up. The host also felt very innocent and had to skip a few steps and go straight to the last step. Groom, are you willing to marry Miss Su-won? I do. Then bride, are you willing to marry Hua? At this moment, the host's cold sweat also flowed down. What is the groom's name? He doesn't know. But Su Wan reacted very quickly. She quickly said, I am willing, then stood on tiptoe and put her arms around a Jew's neck. At this moment, a Jew seemed to be self-taught, and leaned over to kiss the corner of her mouth. That sweet feeling actually eased his hot and cold feeling all over his body. But at this moment, Su Wan had already taken half a step back and left. Jew frowned, feeling a little disappointed. The host hurriedly wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and said quickly, Li Cheng. Congratulations to the two newcomers. Next, the banquet begins. The time slowly approached 12 o'clock, but at this time Su Wan had no time to do other entertainment. She kicked off her high heels, dragged the Jew to a trot from the backstage and slipped away. Jew's condition was not right. Su Wan had no choice but to send a message to her mother with an optical brain, asking her to bring the exclusive potion, and then brought Jew back to the new couple's lounge. Jew, are you alright? Su Wan hadn't woken up for less than 2 years, and she didn't know how to deal with the lycanthropy's manic depression. She took a wet towel, wiped Jew's face, and turned on the light brain, asked Jinao Xiao Bai. What should I do when I encounter a lycanthropy manic depression? Xiao Bai, there are 2 answers, one is to give him his exclusive medicine, and the other is to make his exclusive medicine. What do you mean? Su Wan frowned, and was about to ask more detailed questions, when suddenly a big fluffy tail was wrapped around her waist, and when she pulled it hard, she fell into a hot embrace. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 8, Big Furry Tail. Chapter 8, Big Furry Tail. Su Wan subconsciously wanted to leave the big stove, but suddenly a very nasal and extremely aggrieved voice came from above her head. Sister, I feel bad. Jew, don't worry, the exclusive potion will be delivered soon, and you won't feel so uncomfortable by then. My sister won't leave me, will she? Su Wan. It's hard to say, after all, this wedding between 2 people is a bit oolong. Jew is not sober now, and when he becomes sober in the future, maybe he is the one who wants to leave. Su Wan was about to explain something, when she suddenly found that a Jew came over and touched the corner of her mouth, like a child eating candy, touching it carefully, lingering, but precious. Su Wan shuddered all over. This was different from the kiss at the wedding just now. She suddenly understood what it meant to be his exclusive potion. Turning back to his senses, he saw Jew's eyes that were as beautiful as jewels, overflowing with water vapor, and his frowning appearance, extremely aggrieved elder sister. As she spoke, tears fell down, leaving a shallow trace on her fair face. Su Wan's heart softened instantly. At first, she liked him very much, such a cute and beautiful boy, and the other party really did her a big favor just now. Reciprocity. The most important thing is that Jew looks so beautiful now. The messy hair ends hit the white forehead, and the big eyes that were already wet are now full of water vapor, looking at you full of infinite trust and expectation. There are also fluffy ears that tremble slightly from time to time, and a big tail that is tightly wrapped around her waist, which feels very good to the touch. I don't know why my mother hasn't brought the exclusive medicine yet. But Su Wan knew that Jew's situation could no longer wait any longer. She lowered her eyes halfway, and finally nodded slightly, okay. Outside the banquet hall, Su Jin saw his wife leaving quickly, so he also ran over. He stopped his wife and said angrily, what is going on? Why did Xiao Wan temporarily change someone? Who is that man? Lin Ranua shook her head. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it turns out that Hui Chang can't come back in time, and changing the groom now can make the wedding less ugly. What's going on? I'm going to find out now, little knight. Su Jin said with a sullen face, that's just right, I'll go there with you, this girl is really courageous, she dares to do anything. How can I explain to the Hua family? Lin Ranua was speechless. How to explain? Shouldn't the Hua family give us an explanation? Forget it, there are business matters, you don't understand, let's go, let's ask Xiao Wan together. Lin Ranua thought of the exclusive potion she had asked for from her eldest son, and suddenly felt that this time was not suitable for her husband to go there. She said tactfully, Xiaowan is not in a good condition now, you wait here, and I will ask her first. No need. I'm going to ask her myself. Looking at her husband's insistence, Lin Ranue was also completely angry. She said, why are you so angry? Hui Chang is definitely not coming. Shouldn't you be angry with the Hua family? I don't understand business matters, but if the groom doesn't show up today, you know how much will Jia Xiaowan be hurt. If she doesn't find someone to marry, will Xiaowan be randomly married to a man we don't know? This man is chosen by Xiaowan herself, so she can be happy herself. Su Zhen was furious, she was spoiled by you. If she is half as sensible as Xiaoman, she won't embarrass me like this today. Lin Ranue sneered, are you ashamed? When Hui Chang didn't come, did you consider your daughter's feelings? You still have the face to say that Xiaowan should learn from Suman. Hui Chang released Xiaowan's pigeons because of Suman. I want to ask you, you have been so kind to Suman these past few years, is Xiaowan your own daughter, or is that Suman your own daughter? Snapped. A slap in the face made both of them quiet down. If the cuties like this book, then accept it. Ask for collection, message and vote. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 9, His Majesty is now your nephew. Chapter 9 Your Majesty is now your nephew. Su Zhen felt a little regretful, he shouldn't have beaten his wife. Lin Ranue was crying and said disappointedly, Su Zhen, tell me with this slap in the face, am I right? Okay, just wait to receive my divorce information. She covered her face, turned and ran. Two young men came not far away, one with steady black hair was the eldest Su Yun, and the other was Sunny with blonde hair and was the second eldest Su Ni. It was the first time for the two brothers to see their parents quarreling. Su Ni hurried to chase after his mother, while Su Yun came to appease his father. After all, the guests outside had not gone to see him off. At this time, after 12 o'clock, the videos of the couple's wedding dress in the streets and alleys were also replaced by various advertisements. This lively and extraordinary marriage, which seemed chaotic, finally ended in a strange atmosphere. However, some people have already started posting on the internet, jokingly saying that several versions of the story have been made up about the change of groom this time. Su Zhen, who had calmed down, accompanied his father, Mr. Su, and was sending off two important figures from the first district, when one of them suddenly asked, the groom is from your third district. Su Zhen's mouthful of old blood was stuffy in his chest, how could he know what district that person was from? But facing the eyes of the big man, he laughed and said, yes. What about others? The young couple went to rest. How about I send someone to call them over? No need. Leroy shook his head, turned and walked towards the aircraft. The men in dark blue military uniforms boarded the aircraft one by one, and took off after the hatch was closed. Blonde-haired and blue-eyed Eric smiled and said, today's wedding is quite exciting. Leroy, why did you ask the groom? I think he looks familiar. Leroy thought about the figure of that person, and always felt as if he had seen him somewhere. Eric rubbed his chin and said, when you say that, I feel that he looks a little familiar, as if. Hey, do you think he looks like His Majesty? Leroy frowned, don't talk nonsense. But the other party is a lycanthropy, and lycanthropy has strong spiritual power, so it shouldn't be buried. He is so young, maybe we will see him again in the Imperial University. 2. They didn't know, and they passed by the real answer. At the same time, several aircraft marked with the symbols of the royal family have also arrived in the third area and started searching. Su Wan didn't know that so many things had happened. She woke up from starvation. When she woke up, her stomach was growling, and Su Wan just remembered that she had been waiting for Hui Chang to come back, and then so many things happened in succession, she hadn't eaten yet. Su Wan lowered her head, Ju's arm was still around her waist, and her big fluffy tail was still wrapped around her ankle. Su Wan was about to move the other party's arm away, but because the two were already a legal couple, she accidentally activated a June's optical brain that was on standby. Countless pieces of information suddenly flooded in. Su Wan didn't want to read it, but under iris authentication, that is, before Ju made the blocking settings, the information would be automatically displayed in front of Su Wan. The person who sent the most messages to a Jew was named Gu Xilan. Gu Xilan's latest message is, "Uncle, where are you? Are you okay? Uncle? Is a Jew's seniority so old?" The moment the optical brain was activated, there was a sudden beeping sound, which was equivalent to giving Gu Xilan a position. Su Wan was shocked and almost fell off the bed. Gu Xilan. Why does this name sound familiar? Su Wan hurriedly wanted to adjust her optical brain to check, but she heard an electronic sound coming from Ah Ju's optical brain. "Report, madam, Gu Xilan is the name of His Majesty the Federal Empire. Logically speaking, ordinary people are not allowed to call him by his name directly, but you can." Su Wan, why? Because he is your nephew now. "Hello madam, my name is Baihu, and I am the brain of Commander. You can just call me Dabai." This time it was Su Wan's brain, and it almost shut down. Every piece of information is worth $1,000, making her dizzy. Ah Ju is the first commander of the Federal Empire. Ah Ju is the uncle of His Majesty the current emperor. She actually abducted such a big boss and became her temporary husband. Longevity. Su Wan immediately jumped out of bed, put on her clothes, took her personal belongings, and ran away resolutely. End of this chapter. After the groom ran off, I convinced a military commander to marry me. Chapter 10, You are married. Chapter 10, You have registered your marriage. Su Wan didn't breathe a sigh of relief until she jumped on the aircraft and got away from the central building. But his back felt cold, his legs felt weak, and his waist felt sore. The experience of being an exclusive medicine was not so pleasant at first, not to mention that a Jew's health is so good. But Su Wan has no regrets. She likes a Jew very much, and a Jew has done her such a big favor, and they are husband and wife, so there is no problem for her to be the other's exclusive medicine. But how could Su Wan think that the other party has such a prominent status? The first commander of the empire. Wait, isn't that the ruthless imperial god of war who always wears a silver mask? How could he be the same person as a Jew? The painting styles of the two are obviously very inconsistent. Su Wan feels that her mind is a mess now. She forced herself to calm down quickly, and then dialed her mother's optical brain, which took a long time to pick up. Before Su Wan could speak, Lin Runyue's cry came from there. "Wuo, Xiao Wan, I want to divorce your father." "Ah. Why do you want a divorce when you are so good?" "He hit me. And he kept protecting that Suman. I asked him if Suman was his daughter. He didn't deny it. Then he became angry and hit me." From Lin Runyue's mind, Suni's voice of consolation came, "Probably Mom, don't be angry, it must be a misunderstanding or something, and Dad asked you to call back." Su Wan supported her temples that had been jumping all the time, and sighed softly, feeling that this was really messy. And here Lin Ranyue cried for a while before remembering about the exclusive potion. She quickly said, "Xiao Wan, where are you now?" I'm sorry, I forgot to deliver the exclusive potion, I will deliver it to you now." "Mom, no need, I'll be home soon, let's talk when we get home." Su Wan hangs up the communication in despair, covers her face with her hands, and is silent for a while, before she says, "Xiaobai, go check it out, how many years will the Federal Empire be sentenced for cheating marriage?" 30 years. "But master, you are not considered a fraudulent marriage," he also agreed at that time. A lycanthropist may forget what he has done or said when he is in a manic state. Su Wan's eyes lit up suddenly. Does that prove that he will also forget who helped him to relieve himself? "Are you in a manic depressive phase?" "Theoretically so, but master, don't forget that you have already registered your marriage, and his brain has already called your wife. The implication is that even if he forgets who relieved him, he will not forget who pulled him into marriage." Su Wan. Careless. "Forget it, this day can't go on, let's destroy it all." And just half an hour after Su Wan left the central building, the door of the new couple's lounge was slowly opened, and Gu Ju, who had changed into a dark blue military uniform, walked out with a cold face and buttons on his cuffs. The adjutant next to him said, "Master Commander, your Majesty summoned you urgently. Why don't you follow us back to see your Majesty first?" Gu Ju lowered his eyes halfway, looked back at the lounge, and gave a light hum. The third district, the Su family villa. The Su family is in the catering business, and the Su family restaurant has already opened branches in the third district and the third district. Nowadays, fresh food is becoming more and more scarce. Only the rich can afford stir-fried vegetables, while the poor basically only drink nutrient solution to maintain the basic needs of the body. Su Wan was nestled on the sofa, and Lin Ranua beside her had already forgotten about her own affairs, with a worried expression on her face. Xiao Wan, is what you said true? Is that a Zhou, the first commander who has been wearing a mask? His optical brain said, this should not be fake. Then why are you still with him? Su Wan covered her face with a pillow. How would I know that any lycanthropy I picked up randomly would pick up that boss? End of this chapter.